Hi there, it's your GenX Big Sister. This video today is possibly going to be unlike any of the other ones that I've posted previously. Not necessarily a video that I want to post, but feel that I need to post. And there's going to be all kinds of ums and uhs and thinking through this. So you can speed up the play speed so you can get through this. But I I have to talk about what's going on with these immigration efforts here in the United States and really keeping an eye on everything that's going on in Minnesota. I've tried to avoid the video of Alex Preddy being brutally murdered and have been unable to avoid it if I'm online at all, because it comes up over and over again. And I made myself watch, and I've watched from a bunch of angles. Just when I did when Renee Good was murdered a few weeks ago, watched all the different angles. You saw the angles where they sped up a little clip to make it look like she hit him from a distance and a fuzzy. I saw all kinds of versions of all the different videos. I've read all the rhetoric back and forth. I've read all the rhetoric back and forth this time, and I pushed. Obviously, going through a lot of emotion about it, and when I looked up additional information, I found that there's a lot more people that have died in the custody while being detained, etc. And I feel like it's a time where we need to speak, no matter which side we're on, to try to figure out where we go from here. And yes, I vote Democrat. At the same time, I'm able to look with a critical eye at what's happening on the left and what Democrats do or don't do, what they say or don't say. And I'm very easily triggered by what's happening on the right and the things that they do and say. I have a tendency to get, very triggered, but there's also extremes on both sides. Whenever I make any kind of a post on this topic, which I've done a few times on Instagram, I've done a few times on Threads, I get so much hate and vitriol from both sides. On the right, I tend to get insulted about being stupid or brainwashed or whatever all the insults and stuff are. On the left, I'm told how whatever I'm doing or saying is not enough, and that I'm not addressing the white supremacy part of it enough, and that I am taking advantage of my privilege and my proximity to privilege. So no matter what, no matter whatever stand I take, there's a lot of hate. But I feel like I need to take a stand anyway. And bottom line, what I think is the current efforts need to stop. Period. Full stop. Just the current efforts, put a freeze on it. And we need to go back to the drawing board. We need to go back to the table. I know, and as I say that, I hear how naive that sounds, because there's one side that's saying we're playing a new game. There are no rules. They're not playing by the rules, so we're not going to play by the rules. We can't try to impose our old structures because our old structures are being dismantled and shit on. And so we can't do this through legislature and voting and all of that. So there's definitely growing sentiment for, we're heading towards a revolution. We need to, hit them where it hurts. We need to go on a national strike, which I'm interested in hearing more about what that is. So it seems maybe overly simplistic and overly naive to say that we need to go back to the drawing board, but we absolutely need to take a pause. I don't care how you feel on either side of this issue. Even I can I can understand wanting to look at our immigration policies, laws, and enforcement and looking at that and wanting to improve it. I understand that. I understand that people who want stricter immigration enforcement, that I understand that it's because they feel like too much undocumented immigrants is a negative impact on our resources, that it's a strain on our economy, which logically does not make sense to me, but okay, that's part of what they feel, that there's like a danger involved, that they're bringing drugs with them. Again, I don't know about the accuracy of that, but I understand that they feel that way, and they feel that they're competing for the lower skilled jobs. Again, I don't know that we've got enough people that are ready, willing, and want to take those lower skilled jobs, but I can understand that it's something that we want to look at. I've had friends that have said, if they're not documented, if it's not done through the appropriate channels, then they're also risk how they're being treated. It encourages businesses to take advantage and even abuse their workers and their immigrants if they're undocumented. My answer to all that is, let's look at the fucking documentation process then and figure it out. I'm not sure how we got to the point of, well, we just need millions of people out of here. I don't understand. I can't wrap my head around that. Do we know what the impact is going to be on that, on our lives, on our culture, on how we are with each other? I mean, I'm a nomad. I go from city to city, town to town, and it's multicultural aspects of it that are happening everywhere, and there's like services that are happening, and we like conveniences, and we like having Ubers and DoorDashes, and we like going to a local Mexican restaurant, and we are reaping the benefits. And I know that I'm going to get blasted for even saying this, but we're reaping the benefits of having a mix of ethnicities and cultures, and having immigrants here. We benefit from them being here. I don't do are we at risk for those that are dangerous criminals? Well, of course, but we're also at risk for the dangerous criminals that are from here, that were born here. We're also mostly at risk for the criminals at the very top that are controlling everything and controlling our corporations and controlling our government. If you can't see how that top 2% is just, they're playing us all like a fucking fiddle. I mean, we are the puppets on the string on both sides of the aisle or whatever. I mean, it's too complicated to be left, right or wrong, black or white. It's too complicated. It's too nuanced for that. But one thing I do know, when you start having federal agents shooting people in the streets, shooting US citizens, that's not even talking about what they've done to people who they have decided on site are undocumented, what they're calling illegal aliens. It's not even talking about what they've been doing to them, just what they're doing to US citizens, crashing in their cars and pulling them out of their cars, all of that. That has to stop. You don't just keep forging ahead and, and let the chips fall where they may. You don't just barrel forward. It's like bull in the china shop approach. I can't understand how you want people forced out of this country so badly that it's worth it to you to have some of the people who don't agree with that killed. I don't I can't. I'm really having a hard time with that. These methods, at the very least, these methods need to stop. At the very least, that's the first thing. We gotta pull ICE out of these cities. We need to find another way to get around these issues. But of course, what it's telling me is it's not about the economy. It's not about security. It's not about the job market. It's not about, oh, because they broke the law by not filling out the right forms. It's not about any of that. It's it's about control. It's about it. I mean, how can it be anything other than just the racist heart of America? I just, there's no logical reason, because if it was about those other things, then we would come up with ways to solve those issues. We would come up with ways to help them become legal and go through the right channels. We would come up with ways of making sure that we're targeting actual dangerous criminals. I now personally know too many people, and I was shocked to find out that there are people in my life that I did not know were undocumented, and finding out how it is impacting them and their lives and their kids. They're afraid to send their kids to school. They're afraid to go to church. They're afraid to do, like, this level of fear and chaos. I have to believe that the level-headed people, who any level-headed person that is in favor of immigration reform, they've got to be level-headed enough to see that this is not the way. It's just not the way. And we're never gonna solve any of this shit if we keep with such insulting rhetoric both ways. Online is just horrific, and what people are saying to each other and about each other is just horrible. And that's why I am afraid to put anything on there, because I don't like getting all that hate back. Of course, the response to that is, well, the hate that you're getting back is nothing compared to what people who are being directly impacted by this, how they're being effective. My hurt feelings are nothing compared to what they're actually going through. Absolutely true. You're 100%, you're 100% right on that. I just have to realize that I have to be okay with the fact that I don't have all the answers. I don't have to have all the answers. I can't live and breathe this 24/7. And I have to figure out what are the actions that I can take that can have an impact, and do those things and feel good about it, and not feel guilty about it. I feel guilty about it at the same time. I feel like anything less than me being in the, getting on a plane and going to Minneapolis and standing in front of those ICE agents to observe and record what they're doing along with my fellow citizens. Anything less than taking in any undocumented immigrants and sheltering them as best as I can, I don't have the opportunity to do those two things, but in my heart, I feel like anything less than that is not enough. And I'm sure, I guess I'm going to, there's gonna be a time where that's gonna be my choice, because it's gonna get, geographically closer and closer to home, wherever I happen to be. But I feel like we have, there's a portion of the population who are in favor of these tactics, and they don't care how many people are killed, really. They don't. And they're, I don't even want to get into what their motivations are and what their intentions are, because I can't fathom them. I'm not even going to get into it. But there's a portion that are there. They're lost to us. There's also a portion that we're generally in favor of more immigration reform, generally in favor of ICE taking some stronger, firmer action, but they're smart and they're level-headed and they're compassionate also. And that's who we need to reach. Has the line been crossed yet for you? And if it hasn't, why hasn't it? What haven't you seen? Or what are you seeing that we're not seeing? I mean, I know we're being told different things through our algorithms and through our news sources and all of that, but I'm trying to jump over to the other news sources. I'm trying to log into the other sites to get the other information. And I still keep coming down to the fact that we just had 2 US citizens shot in cold blood, unwarranted, and it should be, I can't get anything again. I mean, I can't come up with anything other than that. But for those of you that want to be objective about this, it's not about, I'm not asking to become a Democrat. I'm not asking to be in favor of anything else that the Democrats do, because they're a mess. We need to create something new. And I need to ask you, what is it going to take? And for those on the left and those on the far left that just want to like abolish everything and, abolish the police force and abolish the military and going to that extreme, are you, do you have any desire to meet us at the table to talk things through? Because I don't know that we're going to go there. I don't know that we're going to go that far. But as long as you're pushing and talking about things, wanting to go so far in one direction, you're going to keep getting this resistance to that. I mean, I wish we could come together and somehow have a conversation. And the fact that our leaders can't even do that is just mind-blowing to me. I'm very disappointed and embarrassed and ashamed of my country right now. I know that it's not a safe place to be. I know we're not the worst country in the world. I know that we're not even the worst government in the world yet. But we're definitely not who I thought we were. And we are more of what some people have shared with me we've always been, and I just didn't know it. I don't know where else I'm going with this. I'm sorry, I just went on a rant and a rave. Please feel free to leave a comment. I'd prefer that it's not hate, but I'm always open to respectful conversation. I'm always open to hearing, as long as you don't insult me or people that I love. I'm open to having a respectful exchange of thoughts and ideas. And in the meantime, take care. There's a winter storm going on out there. Stay safe and warm. This is your Gen X Big Sister signing off.